Hello, my name is Dr. Patrick McGrath, and I'm the Chief Clinical Officer for NOCD. If you're looking for help for OCD or related conditions, check us out at nocd.com. That's NOCD.com. One thing that I very distinctly remember is about 10 or 12 years ago, there was just this day. It was a very strange day. I was at a hospital that I was working at. I was running an intensive outpatient and partial hospitalization program. So that's people coming in for treatment daily for 3 to 6 hours a day. And in the morning, someone said to me, I think I might have the hardest, most difficult case of OCD you've ever seen in your career. Now, this is not unusual. I do hear this once in a while. A few hours later, another person came up to me and said, just so you know, this is probably the worst case of OCD you've ever seen. An hour later, a third person came up and said that. And by the time the fourth person had said that to me that day, I had this idea. And so instead of sending those four people to the usual checkout kind of in the evening group that we did as a wrap up of our day, I brought all four of them into a group room and I sat them down and I said, all right, here's the deal. Each one of you today has told me that you probably have the most difficult case that I've ever seen in my career of obsessive compulsive disorder. And like the movie The Highlander, there can be only one. So what I would like all of you to do is argue with each other here until you decide who actually does have the hardest case of OCD that I've ever seen in my career. Go. And they all proceeded to state their case about why theirs was the most difficult and this one and that. And none of them agreed with the other one. They all felt that theirs was the most difficult. And I let this go on for about 15 or 20 minutes. And I said, okay, I'm going to stop all of you right now and point out something. You could all waste an amazing amount of time trying to convince yourself, me, or anyone else that you may or may not have the most difficult case of OCD that has ever been seen in this clinic. Or you could start to work on whatever is going on with your OCD and let's get going in on the treatment. I saw so many times where people were so convinced that they were untreatable, that their case was beyond anything that could be done. And I will tell you, I have not met someone yet that I feel that that is true. I don't care if you haven't let someone in your home for over 30 years out of fears of them being contaminated. You don't want to go near streets or train tracks because you're afraid you'll push people onto the tracks or into traffic. I don't care if you believe that 30 years ago you might have dozed off a little while driving, and what if that caused motorcycles to go off the road and now there's still people stuck in a ditch to this day. It just doesn't matter what it is that's going on in your life with your OCD. I fully believe it is treatable. And we have great tools available, from the individual therapy that is available through a company like us at NOCD, through intensive outpatient programs, which are 3 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week, partial hospital programs, which are 6 hours a day, typically 5 days a week. You have residential treatment centers where you can go live there for 30 to 90 days typically and do intensive treatment. And then you have medications available, ramping up from your typical SSRIs through augmenting with antipsychotic medication at low doses to help break open that your delusional belief of your OCD, even into more surgical options for OCD. And there's even advances in transcranial magnetic stimulation, or deep TMS as it's called, which uses magnetic pulses to help change things in the brain. This was originally developed for depression and now has been FDA approved for OCD as well. So we have a myriad of things available to us to be able to help people with OCD. And what I would ask for you to do is really consider, is it worth all the time and energy and effort that I tell myself how difficult my case is? and how much I try to prove that to everybody else? Or would that energy be better used into finding the best treatment that's available for me and then going and utilizing that? That is where I will hope you will put your effort and your time and your energy. And with that, you have a renewed sense that, you know what? Help is available. So if you're looking for that help, check us out at NOCD.com. That's NOCD.com, where we have expert therapists trained in exposure and response prevention therapy for OCD and related conditions ready to meet with you. Hope to see you soon.